Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Autobots and Maximals, Terracons of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. I enjoy that look of confusion, Jay. When an inferior being meets a higher power.
You see,
Yes.
we'll talk about this before. You sold that line so much better than Peter Dinklage did. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Anyway, this is a podcast about toy media franchises, 2000 nostalgia, and other such ephemera. And this week we are talking about the most recent live-action Transformers movie, Rise of the Beast. And joining us, we have a returning guest. You have a robbing mixtape, Emma?
Hi. Do I have a line? But no, I think I just...
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't want to
Hello.
give you a line since I didn't prepare you for it.
Well,
we've made
it.
Just say hi.
We've made it to the end of live-action Transformers.
For now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes. So, Emma, before we dive into the episode, what is your history with Transformers?
I think I've seen the toys before.
I
And
have
I've seen
one.
some trailers in the theater. That's about my history.
In the good old theater, yeah. Have you seen any films before? Any cartoons?
No.
All right.
Yeah, we weren't a big Transformers household. I don't think I ever owned any of the toys. I may
don't
have
think
had
so
like a
either.
McDonald's version, but yeah.
I think we were
Yeah.
at someone's house here in the States and they had a Transformers toy, and it was fun to change it between the car and the person, and that's all I knew about Transformers. So I was surprised when Maximus changed into different cars. I thought they only changed into one type of car.
Yeah.
Or no,
can-
Mirage, not
Mirage,
Maximus, yeah.
yeah.
Mirage.
I paid so much attention to this movie.
I mean, they shouldn't be able to do that without scanning a different car. Mirage can only duplicate and create imagery. He can't actually do that to himself. But whatever, doesn't matter. They're just trying to be cool and be like, look at all these cars we can do. All right, tell us about this film, Jay.
Yeah. So this is the most recent live action Transformers movie as of recording. This is for context. So this is the second live action Transformers movie not directed by Michael Bay. And so I did a little bit of digging just for the sake of context. And the first three Transformers movies that Michael Bay directed each made a little bit more than the last, peaking with Dark of the Moon, which made 1.23 billion. So a lot of money there. Age of Extinction made slightly less at 1.104 billion. But by the time of The Last Night, the bottom completely fell out, and Transformers The Last Night made 600 million, which is even less than the first movie in 2007.
Oof.
So obviously Paramount and also producer Lorenzo di Bonaventura, who we haven't talked about much, but he is a key figure in this franchise. He also worked on the G.I. Joe movies. But yeah, they saw the writing on the wall and decided that they needed to take things in a slightly new direction. Even though Bumblebee made even less than Transformers The Last Night, it only made 460 million. They decided to move forward with a new sort of tone for the franchise, sort of based around what was established in Bumblebee, and a new continuity that is completely separate from the Michael Bay films.
And they did it in using a interesting way. I'm very confused about the direction of this one, but they did something.
Yeah, it is interesting because one of the things I realized while looking this up, starting with The Last Night, each new Transformers movie has been the lowest grossing Transformers movie. So The Last Night made less money than any other Transformers movie before it, except I think the animated one from the 80s made less, but we're not counting that. Bumblebee made less than The Last Night, and this one, Rise of the Beast, made less than Bumblebee. Now, this was also the great blockbuster massacre of 2023, where a
Yeah.
whole bunch of major movies flopped. So Rise of the Beast kind of got out unscathed, relatively unscathed, because it actually made some money compared to like Indiana Jones and The Flash and all of the big high profile bombs.
Was
But yeah,
this the
this
same
was
month?
released June 9.
Was this the same
Sorry?
month of Barbenheimer? Was this the same month of Barbenheimer?
This was the month before Barbenheimer. It was released
Okay.
June 9, 2023. Barbenheimer was the. Oh, I used to have the date. It was July.
Okay.
I think it was July 13th. But yeah, the Rise of the Beast is directed by Stephen Caple Jr., who is a director who worked on the movie The Land, which I hadn't ever heard of before, and also Creed 2, the
Mm.
Rocky Universe movie. It's written by Joby Harold, Darnell Metayer, and Josh Peters, and Eric and John Hoper.
Mm.
This is, I think, the first time on this podcast we've gotten to talk about the difference between ampersand and in writing credits. Are you familiar with this, John?
Uh, no.
So if you're ever looking at a writing credit and there's a whole bunch of people's names and a whole bunch of ands, but some of them are ampersand, some of them are the word and. The ones with
Okay.
ampersand indicate that those people are a writing team.
Oh.
And then an and will separate different writers or writing teams. So we have two writing teams in this one, plus a separate writer. Joby Harold, who is
Yeah.
the separate writer, is a producer and writer who worked on a lot of movies. King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, which we talked about on the Last Night episode. Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, and The Flash.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very confidence inspiring there. The writing team
Yeah.
of Metayer and Peters wrote for the show Black Mafia Family, which I've never heard of before this, but that's their one credit on IMDb. So, and then we talked about the Hovers who wrote Battleship, so you can go back to that episode and you want more info on them. We have cinematography once again by
Mm.
Enrique Chediak, the Ecuadorian cinematographer, and music by Jonik Bontemps, who had previously worked with Capel Jr. on the movie The Land.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into this lovely story that we have going on today. So sometime in the distant past, Unicron, the giant planet-eating being, destroyed the world of the Maximals, Transformers who look like animals. Uh-huh. Unicron was looking for the Transwarp Key, which is a device that allows people to travel across space, maybe time, who knows? But a group of Maximals escape with the key and hide out on Earth. And in 1994, years later, Elena, an intern at a museum in New York City, discovers a statue containing half of the key. It sends out a beam visible only to Transformers and the audience, and Optimus Prime calls all the Autobots to help him investigate. One of these Autobots, Mirage, is being carjacked by Noah, who is a former soldier who needs money to help his sick brother when he receives the call. So Mirage takes off with Noah inside him and brings him to the warehouse where he reveals himself to Noah. The other Autobots arrive and Mirage convinces Noah to help them. Also, Optimus is angry at this.
Yes.
Noah sneaks into the museum to steal the key and encounters Elena, who agrees to help him after um, some violence and such. They get the key to the Autobots, but Scourge, a Terracon working with Unicron, manages to take it and kills Bumblebee for about an hour of screen time. Yes. And Airazor, one of the Maximals, shows up and tells the Autobots that, oh, they can find the other half of the key in Peru. Okay. Noah and Elena tag along, and in Peru, they meet up with the remaining Maximals led by Optimus Primal. And Terracon show up and take the other half of the key, killing Airazor. Scourge brings the key to the crater of a volcano where the tower of Barad-dûr from where the rings erupts from the lava somehow. And activating the key causes a surge of Enertron. So apparently there's Energon in Peru. Okay. Which revives Bumblebee. What a shocker. And there's a big battle. Swords. Mirage sacrifices himself to save Noah, but not really. Optimus kills Scourge, but is forced to destroy the key to stop Unicron. Sometime later, Elena has become famous for uncovering some ruins in Peru, and Noah has rebuilt Mirage. And also, Noah goes for a job interview at a random company, only discovered that it's actually the secret headquarters of the G.I. Joe, teasing what hopefully is a third film with the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, which I'm sure 80s kids should be happy for.
So this was a moment because I knew this was coming since that was like widely reported when this movie came out. But I was watching this with Emma, and the scene starts, and Emma goes, "Wait a second, are they CIA?" And then
No,
there's
I was
something.
like, it's something like Shield or
Yeah, eventually, yeah, it's something like Shield or something going on here. And I was like, just wait. And they tease it out. They wait a while to reveal, and
Yeah.
you groaned or something. It was not a pleased
okay. All I
reaction.
know about GI Joe is they have one movie where the ice sinks.
I mean, that's all you need to know about GI Joe. Uh, we'll talk about that franchise eventually. Maybe we'll have to get you
Yeah.
on
Oh,
for one of the
great.
episodes.
Yeah,
Um,
whenever that maybe third film comes out. But
I mean, they're gonna
yeah.
do it. Like Rise of
I
the
I
Beast
mean
did not
it
underperform enough
makes
for them to.
sense because like so many kids have played with their GI Joe toys, with their Transformers toys, hoping that they could cross over. I mean, that's pretty much what the Bay films have been, except without GI Joe, it's just the U.S. military for some reason. But
Yeah.
this could be a wish fulfillment to so many people who are like in their 50s now, 40s, 50s now. So,
Yeah, maybe a little younger than that. I
wow.
mean, yeah. I think you could, if you were criticizing modern day blockbuster filmmaking, you could say it's basically just people making stuff based on which action figures they smashed together as kids. So
Right.
it makes sense that they're doing this one. Um, doesn't
I
necessarily
mean,
make it any less.
they've crossed over in everything else but a film. So,
Okay.
why not?
Yeah.
Why
It,
not give those people
it does
wish
seem like a weird
fulfillment?
fit.
At
Yeah.
first, yes, but then you think about how kids play with their toys. It's like, oh, I totally played with a G.I. Joe figure and a Transformer figure together, so it makes more sense. They're both Hasbro. It's not like we're doing two completely different things like Star Wars and Marvel. I know that's been brought on the table at
I
some
mean,
point. So,
yeah. Yeah. I keep waiting for the announcement with Warner Brothers, what they've been doing, all of the crazy stuff that they're selling DC to Disney. Because it
mm,
seems like something they would do at this point.
uh,
I
okay.
agree. I don't think they should be allowed to, like with antitrust laws, but yeah. Anyway, Rise of the Beasts. This is a movie.
It is a
It has
movie.
a story. I've had this theory before that like somewhere in Hollywood there is a vault, and inside this vault is the script that every kids movie is based on. So whenever someone needs to write a kids movie, they go down to the vault and they like open the vault. Then there's the script sitting there, and it just has some blanks, and they make a photocopy of it, and then they fill in the blanks with the names of the characters that the specific
it's a
movie
Mad
is going
Lib,
to have.
essentially.
Yes,
It's a kids movie in Mad Lib.
Every once
It
in a while, there's a
does
slightly
feel like
longer
that.
blank where you can write a joke. Yeah, this feels like the action adventure version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Just-
This is like the seventh film. Why are they doing this now? It's like we should already know. Why? Do something else. Look at the cartoon.
It's
Pull a random plot line.
yeah. At a certain point, I think it was the fight between Optimus Primal and Air Razor, Emma turned to me and just said, "I don't care about any of this," or something to that
Yeah.
effect.
I think, or like when B was dying or something, I was like, I just don't care.
Yeah, it does not do a good job setting up interesting emotional arcs.
That's pretty much how I felt this entire film. Like when I watched it the first time a year ago, I was like, man, I don't care about any of this, which is, I've said that before with some of the Transformers films, but at least those I had something to be angry about. This was just like, man, I just don't care about any of this at all.
That's pretty much exactly what I said. I was commenting to Emma, like, the Transformers, the Michael Bay Transformers movies, at least I was feeling like confusion and frustration. Here I was just feeling like, okay, sure, might as well happen. Makes sense as the next plot beat in this very typical movie.
I was decently engaged in the first part, I think, because they had an interesting setup, like different setup than what I've seen before, but then suddenly it turned into every other action movie I've ever seen. And I think that's what carried even more.
Yeah, I was watching this and thinking, it's like, this plot is like a really, really watered down Revenge of the Fallen, and not that interesting.
It's
like you even have the whole character dies, an hour they come back through some bullcrap, traveling across the globe, with some key that they're looking for some reason.
Yeah, I wish these movies would stop using MacGuffins so much.
Yeah,
because
why do the Transformers need a key? Why is that a plot line? Just this is an intergalactic war between giant robots. Why are we doing the key? Either hidden in Peru. Plus, Plus they have the Maximals are here, which is a really weird thing. If you really know anything about Transformers, of course the Maximals were a toy line of Transformers that came from the Beast Wars era of Transformers, which was a '90s cartoon, all CGI. One of the first CGI fully shows.
That's the one that like a bunch of Barbie people worked on, I think, because wasn't it the same company that did a lot of Barbie stuff?
Yeah, some of them. But like the concept of these things is that the Maximals are like it's a sequel to Transformers in that there are hundreds of thousands of years in the future, where apparently the Transformers evolve and they're somewhat organic and they transform into animals. And that's why you have Optimus Primal being named that. And there's also their Decepticon versions called Predacons, where you have one of them, which is Megatron, but he's an alligator. I believe there's some shenanigans, maybe to do with time travel or something. But essentially, it is really weird to have normal Transformers and the Beast Wars Transformers in the same scene together, and it doesn't make sense here. There's this really weird line by AirRaiser, which is like, we're like past and future or whatever, which makes no sense at
Yeah.
all. Like,
Yeah,
how
I
old
was-
is Optimus? How long has Optimus been fighting that we have Optimus Primal being named after him?
Yeah, I just assumed it was like, since Optimus is, I mean, all of these robots are like thousands of years old. So I just assumed it was like, oh yeah, he made a name for himself, and then, but yeah, I had heard that there was maybe some weird time travel stuff. But the movie, I think one of the points in the movie's favor is that they don't go into that.
But I'm just like, why are they here? Why are the animals? Why you have the same name? I need to know why. Because they're just a bunch of random robots in Peru that look like animals, and we never know why they turn into animals. Why are they animals on a different planet that look like Earth animals? I don't know.
I mean, why are
They
they
look
cars
like-
on a different planet that look like Earth cars?
Well, they don't look like Earth cars. They only look like Earth cars because of the stupid Bay films, and they don't. They actually don't have wheels.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
No.
And the Bay
They
the Bay
hover.
movies had an explanation, which is that Earth cars are based on the Transformers cars. You see why those movies are more interesting than this one?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it just feels like this one is trying to go for that MCU style. But the thing with the MCU, especially early MCU, that made it successful is that they really paid a lot of attention to characterization.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, whatever you think of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, by the end of it, you have a very strong sense of who each of those characters are. We're being introduced to, 5 characters for the first time, plus several villains. But the movie goes out of its way to, like, establish who these people are, separate from each other, and together, what their dynamics are.
Mm-hmm.
This one, there are, like, I don't know who RC is.
We're moving to characters.
Not quite. I
No,
just
not
This
yet.
is a
this
segue.
is yes, this is a segue. It'll eventually be. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, there's nothing to grasp onto with the story here. It's just so
There's nothing to make you care. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, there's nothing to make me care. There's nothing for me to, like, really hate. I mean, I could go into the whole thing with the museum with Elena and her boss, but I don't care. They're not-
It doesn't go anywhere even.
Oh yeah.
No!
That's true.
It doesn't.
The closest we get to a callback to it is when she is talking about discovering this thing in Peru and leaves out all of the other people who helped her do that.
Oh, that's true.
But that isn't an intentional thing, because that's framed as like Noah's just like smiling and nodding like, yes, I'm glad that she is being successful, not, hey, wait a second, why is she not helping me out here?
That's what I was wondering. When he was, I was like, oh, I hope he got a cut of whatever profit she made on that.
Yeah.
Also, like, did she, like, what happened? Like, a guard died in an explosion at the museum, and she was there. Surely there were security
Oh, that's
cameras.
true.
Also, like,
And it was like burning and.
she destroyed
Doesn't
an
matter.
artifact. It doesn't matter.
I mean, the artifact she could claim was destroyed in the explosion.
But
Because
it
that,
was
like, skeleton, that bone.
Yeah,
thing,
the fossil.
The fossil. That's the word. Yeah, that was destroyed.
Why was that laser so futuristic for the 1990s? When she was
Oh, that's true.
using it to
Yeah, when you said
the
it took
artifact.
place in the 1990s, I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know if they had that. I mean, they might have had that kind of technology. Seems weird that it would
Not
be
the
in a
one with the
random
big
museum.
glowing lasers, but yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's one of those frequencies that only humans and Transformers can see. So it wasn't actually a laser. It was just showing us what was happening.
Okay. You could do the same thing with just like a light on the thing, not a. Why did that need to be a visual effect? Just put a light bulb on it and spin it. That's. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I gave the story a 2.5.
I gave it a 2.
I gave it a 2.5.
I think this is kind of like Bumblebee. This is more competently written and constructed than the Bay movies, but it's so much less interesting.
Yeah, it's more like, it's like we said in the last film. They look at the book of like writing 101 and just did a Mad Lib, and there you go. There's your plot.
Yeah, they got the action adventure screenplay out of the vault, did a photocopy of it, and filled in the blanks with. This is the kind of thing of like, I don't like accusing movies of being AI written unless there is actual evidence of it. But this is the kind of stuff that makes me understand why studio heads are so enthusiastic about using AI for movies. Because this is the kind of movie that studio executives want. They want the middle of the road, the safe bet.
The thing is, you don't even need AI for this. You can just have I've seen prompt generators that do similar things where, what is your character's name? What are their flaws? What are their wants? And then you could get, and then they could have done that for this easily.
Oh, yeah. Bring in a writer to touch it up and pay them less money than you should. Anyway, on to characters. We have Noah, the protagonist.
He's there.
Yep. He's the protagonist, yep.
I never really feel that he's an ex-soldier. I never get that from him.
Yeah, I kept on forgetting that.
Yeah, he doesn't have that thing to him. And I think part of it is just how the role is written isn't very ex-soldiery.
He feels more like a high school or college kid, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know how you make this character more interesting. He's very, again, like screenplay 101.
I mean,
you introduce him with his brother, and his brother has an issue, and
I think you need to show him caring more about his brother.
I don't know. I find
like
that part.
Some of the things he was doing was caring for his brother, but it felt very much more like a duty than like he super cares for his brother kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like
maybe lean into that more.
They didn't show the emotion of it enough.
Maybe lean into that more and have it be like the lesson he needs to learn through the movie is to care more.
Yeah, maybe. But I think caring for his brother isn't either. But
yeah,
at this point, I am just really, really tired of human characters. I really don't care about his sick brother and his journey of healing her. I really don't care about Elena trying to impress her boss and discover something. Just get humans out of here. They don't need to be here.
She just wanted to discover things. Her boss
I don't care. I've seen 6 films with humans protagonists. I'm tired of that. And I know that we're gonna get more with the G.I. Joe, but I can accept because G.I. Joe is humans. But why? I don't care. Anyway.
Yeah. Elena, she's also very generic. It is nice to see a woman get this much focus and dignity in a Transformers movie. However, it's weird her role in the final battle and how different it is from Noah's role, where she is like sneaking around and typing in passwords and stuff, and he's actually part of the action. I think there was probably a version of the script where she was more of a side character, and that would make more sense for her there.
I feel like I wouldn't have minded Elena's role in the battle if it was set up better, because when she had to input the password and it was all weird, I was like, oh, they're dragging out time. But if there was something more that she had to do in puzzles that they knew she would have to solve and be like, we'll send Elena, she's the person who knows this. I would have been fine with the role like that.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a terrible thing or anything. It just kind of jumped out to me as like, Oh, she's been like a protagonist on the level of Noah for the rest of this movie, and suddenly in the final battle, she's being sidelined so that Noah
True,
can get
yeah.
his big hero moments.
I don't know why we need the whole thing with the password, and why only Elena can figure it out.
To drag out.
It's like,
It's because
didn't
need to
the
involve a human.
Maximals come here? Shouldn't they know the password? They put the crap everywhere.
Yeah, Mirage is kind of the most prominent of the Transformers here. I don't know why. I actually kind of liked him. Like, of the Transformers here, he has the strongest defined personality.
That's for sure. I think he
Yeah.
was pretty fun too, and I liked how much he cared about Noah and stuff like that too, where he had good interactions there.
Yeah, I wish they had leaned into that a little bit more and given them more time, just the two of them together, to connect and form a friendship. Because I think that is one of the stronger elements here.
I don't like that he could just pull out a body part and give like a suit of armor to Noah out of himself. Just that doesn't make sense to me. It's dumb.
That, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but that is at least more interesting than most of the other stuff
I
going
think
on in the movie.
it would have been better if it was more like a mech rather than a suit, though. If he jumped onto a car seat and
that's
started
a good
controlling.
Yeah, because Mirage said, "I need you to drive." Like, if that had
I wasn't expecting him to shrink down and fit onto Noah. I was expecting like either he'd turn into a car and somehow fight like that, or it'd be a mech suit kind of thing.
Yeah, that would have been more interesting than this.
Yeah, as soon as we got human Transformer, I was like, oh, okay. Here's the dumb stuff, even more dumb stuff. Alright.
Well, Optimus felt like a leader. I can't say much more about him because it seemed like they were relying on prior knowledge for most of the other Transformers.
He was real grumpy in this one.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to find a halfway point between the like noble general of what I understand of the cartoon and then the brutally violent warlord that the Michael Bay movies have. In the third Michael Bay movie, Optimus Prime, who is supposed to be this like noble leader, executes a guy who has surrendered and is asking for mercy by shooting him in the back of the head.
Oh.
And then it's treated as a heroic moment.
Of course.
So that tells you a lot about those movies.
Yeah.
So here he's like, oh, he's mostly dropped that characterization, except for when he's like pushing Scourge into the lava to brutally murder him again. Yeah. But at least Scourge hasn't surrendered and is not asking for mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't find excitement in him like I would before. Here he was just like, huh. He's really weird in this one. There's something off about him.
Hey, maybe they're setting up something for the next movie.
I doubt it.
You know, like they do with these other movies, definitely all the time. Bumblebee, he's here.
I didn't understand why people liked him so much in the movie. Why everyone was like, "No, Bumblebee," and all that. I was like, I don't know anything about Bumblebee.
He's the most popular character.
I have no idea what Bumblebee is like. All I know is that he can fight sometimes. That's the only thing.
That's it. Movie. That's all he is. He's a dog. Sometimes he's a pet, but that's
he's basically treated like a pet in the Michael Bay movies. That Sam, the main character, has to like treat like a dog that's misbehaving.
I didn't feel any emotions when he died. My first thought was like, oh, wow, I wonder how they're going to bring him back. Because I know that like they're not going to kill off Bumblebee. Like, he died in the last film, but he didn't die. At the same time. Yeah, this is the second time they've killed him.
I think it took them like 10 minutes before they were like, we can bring him back.
Yeah.
It's also like
the clock when he died and was like, okay, let's make a note of that time.
Also, like, for the rest of the film, like, they're just carrying around his corpse. And it's like, they don't explain why they're carrying his body, But I just assume, okay, well, they're carrying the body, so he has to come back at some point. Because they usually just leave them there to rust when
Well,
one
they
of
had
them
a
dies.
conversation of if we can get the transwarp, we can bring him back home and we can revive him there. So I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to figure something out.
Ah, well. Sure.
Yeah, I honestly did not miss him for the hour he was not on screen.
No. Me neither.
And honestly, I think Mirage is a much more interesting version of what they're trying to do with Bumblebee, because he could actually talk and therefore could actually form a friendship with the human character that feels more genuine without having to like dedicate the whole movie to it like they did with the Bumblebee movie.
So, like, how does Bumblebee speak with film quotes? Like,
Oh
are
no.
films just playing in the radio? I know Optimus says, like, I don't want you going to those drive-in movies, but does that mean that he's recording films? If that was the case,
I
couldn't he just
assume he's
record
recording.
normal people talking and then just use that?
Or even radio. I'm sure that has a lot more like normal conversations on it too.
Well, yeah, the idea initially is that he's using like radio and he's like tuning into whatever frequency is closest to what he's trying to say. And this one he's just like, yeah, movie quotes and whatever. I wish they would drop it because at this point it doesn't help, especially when you have this large of a cast and they're spending this little time on characterization.
Yeah,
It
well,
works when it's Bumblebee is the only Transformer who's on screen for most of the movie and is forming a connection with one specific human, and the point of the movie is their connection. It does not work when there's other stuff going on. And even in Bumblebee,
Well, I mean,
it doesn't.
I feel like
fully
even
work.
if he talked in this movie, it wouldn't have worked because all the other returning Transformers I did not learn anything about. Their characters are. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, RC is here. It's cool to see a prominent girl Transformer, but also she has no character traits.
no.
Again, this is the Marvel thing of like, say what you will about the MCU. They are very good at getting across characterization. You understand. That's why all of the like, if you look at MCU fandom stuff outside of like what is the official stuff, a lot of it is people imagining interactions between the characters outside of like the superhero context. So like Iron Man is hanging out with Spider-Man and they're having a conversation about such and such. I cannot imagine any of these Transformers having conversations outside of the context of the movie. Like I can't imagine Optimus sitting down with Mirage and saying, "Hey, what's going on with your life right now? How are you doing?" He just like shows up and is like, "We need to find the MacGuffin. Let us find the MacGuffin. Oh no, now we need to fight. We are fighting." And does a little monologue to end the movie.
The Autobots have been on Earth. What have they been doing?
Hanging out.
They're just parked at different places.
Mirage was in the garage for like days at least, right? What was the carjacker guy saying? Like, oh, that one car's been there for weeks. You can go steal it.
Bumblebee apparently goes to drive-in theaters. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they not trying to find things to do? It's like,
that's the question.
Optimus shows up when the light shows up, and we don't know what he's been doing.
I mean, that's always the question with these movies, though, of like, are they just sitting in like used car lots between movies, just waiting for something to happen?
At least in the Bay films, they're working with the U.S. government to attack Iran. But
what?
They make a big deal in the first two Michael Bay movies of, we are not going to get involved in human conflict. And then the third one starts with, we are involved in human conflict.
Wonderful.
Optimus Primal is here. He's basically Optimus Prime, but a gorilla.
So I'd heard the name Optimus Prime before, and then I heard about and then they introduced Optimus Primal as the first one. I was like, I didn't think Optimus Prime, like the main guy, was a gorilla, but okay. And then later the actual Optimus Prime shows up. Oh, okay.
It is admittedly very confusing. I was confused. I was like, wait a second, why is he called Optimus Primal?
But also, I wasn't paying very much attention because I thought Unicron was unicorn. So
Common first mistake.
Yeah.
I thought
I
it was a
mean,
COVID variant.
yeah. I was when I saw the trailer for this film, I was like, "Oh, they're finally doing Beast Wars." But then I thought, like, wait, why are they doing this? Why are they in like modern day time? That doesn't make sense to me.
it was really weird that they introduced Optimus Primal at the beginning, and then you don't see him until the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Like he was just there to set up the MacGuffin, and then to come into the final battle.
And to teach Optimus that they're both named Optimus, but to teach Prime that humans are actually okay.
Yeah.
But Prime already knew that because he took the humans along to Peru.
The characterization is not this movie's strong suit. I wish they had leaned into, and maybe this is something with the Beast Wars cartoon that they're kind of stuck with, but I wish they had leaned more into the idea of these characters being beastly and having more like feral traits, being a bit wilder, rather than just being like, oh, there are other Transformers that basically act like the Autobots.
The lore in the cartoon is that they have to turn into beasts because whatever planet they're on, something there is like poisonous to them. But if they are in beast mode, which is organic, I guess, they're fine. I don't get it either, but it's yeah.
Like if we're not gonna do the lore of the cartoon, let's do something interesting with these characters where they're a little bit of wild cards.
They also transform, and it's just like you don't really notice that.
Yeah.
Especially Optimus Primal, yeah.
Yeah, he turns from a gorilla into a robot man. I was so disappointed when it's like, we are going to transform, and I was like, oh, we're gonna see which vehicles they turn into. Nope. They do not turn into vehicles.
No, the animals are the vehicles. It'd be like this is pretty much if all we ever saw of the Transformers were their car forms, and they're just talking as cars. And in the final battle, they finally transform. Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We also have Air Razor, who's the second most important of the... And she's there for exposition and nothing else until... Okay, I do think the moment where she gets corrupted and Primal has to kill her in order to stop her, that is the most interesting emotional stake that the movie has.
Except it confused me with how they presented the killing.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job of like...
Because I thought, like, because Optimus Primal was, like, hugging super hard, and she's like, whatever it costs, and he's like, no, I don't want to, and then, like, it goes dark and soft, and I was like, oh, he let go. But no, she died. It should have been a crush or something to make it more obvious.
Yeah, because that should be the most emotional part of the movie. But A, we don't care about these characters. B, they do a very bad job selling it as such.
I'm disappointed that we never got to see what she transformed into.
Just a human.
That's why they killed her off.
To save on the designing budget.
They're like, we can't figure this out. Let's just get rid of her.
Yeah.
Then we have Scourge, who's kind of the main villain that we see. I think part of it is performance, which we'll get into. But yeah, no.
It sounded like he wanted to be Optimus Prime with how he talked, but it came off as very emotionless. Well, I thought Optimus Prime was also emotionless.
We'll talk about in performances.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime is stoic, I would say.
Sure. I think they ruined it by having Unicron or Scourge or something at the very beginning being very emotionless, and then Optimus Prime just reminded me too much of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He also has lackeys, but like we never actually see them front and center on
You guys
screen.
have
They're
one?
always just like in the peripheral. One of them is
Yeah.
purple, and it's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
The purple girl
because
one.
I remember her picking up the thing, and I was like, "Where did she come from?" And then in the final battle, when she's fighting Bumblebee, I was like, "Oh yeah, she exists."
Yeah. Yeah, Scourge is here. He's not interesting at
No.
all. Unicron is also here. It is like
Why did
Unicron.
Why did they go straight to Unicron? It's like, okay, well, next Transformers film, what are we gonna do? Oh, a simple thing with Maximals, Decepticons. There's no Decepticons in this film, shockingly.
Yeah.
Not we just Unicron.
Yeah.
You-
It's like if they're coming up with a villain for Thor 1 and they're like, let's do Thanos. He's gonna be the big villain of
Yeah,
Thor
I
1.
was very confused.
And
when,
Thor
okay, so the whole
2
reason. So
is
like at the very
Galactus.
beginning, they set up Unicron as being super powerful and destroying the planet. So I remember like he's huge, right?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the little guys flying out from him going to the planet. I'm like, why are they even bothering with that? He can destroy the planet right then and there. And then they're like, oh, we need the transwarp thing. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. But then on the Earth battle, the transwarp thing is destroyed, and then Unicron backs off. I'm like, why doesn't he just
It's because
destroy
the
Earth at
portal
that
is
point?
closing because he hadn't gotten
okay.
through the portal.
Because they activated it.
Yes, they did activate it.
When
Because
did they?
Unicron was showing up and like gonna swallow
Oh
the
yeah,
earth.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
They
Okay,
destroyed the computer control thing, and I was so confused. It's like, oh, like shouldn't
How
that
does that
just?
keep it going?
Well, no, I thought it was like, well, the key made that thing. I think shouldn't that thing just reform because the key's still right there?
Oh yeah.
What even made the tower? Like they never explained that the key could do that.
It's the
That
orc rebuilding the Tower of Barad-dûr.
I thought it was.
Come on, John. This is simple stuff.
But it just
I thought it was
appeared.
Unicron for some reason.
We
Yeah,
never
the orcs
got
rebuilt it.
we never got to
The
see the
Tower of
orcs
Barad-dûr
chopping down the
is being
trees
rebuilt in Mordor.
or any of
That's
that.
Isengard. That's Isengard you're thinking
Okay.
of.
Oh great.
We're gonna have to do a Lord of the Rings series someday.
Oh, one other character I want to talk about is that guy who takes the main guy carjacking.
Yeah.
Because the characterization they give him is he's super unreliable because he runs away, and then at the very end, why does Noah show him Mirage? The only thing he showed is he'll run away if it gets dicey. That's all we know about him.
Yeah. It's there to be
He
like
wasn't even a friend before that.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Characterization.
We forgot to say something here.
We did?
Sonic and
What did we forget to
Tails
say?
and Knuckles.
Oh, yeah, we needed to talk about that. That is okay. So this is a Paramount movie. Do you know what other series of prominent movies is also Paramount movies that happens to have a movie coming out about a year and a half after this? After this one was released. Sonic.
Is that
Those are Paramount
yeah.
movies.
yes?
Yeah. This is something that Marvel does all the time. Where like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has a reference to Mary Poppins, and everyone is like, ah, yes, Mary Poppins. And then a year and a half later, Mary Poppins returns. So yeah, that was my interpretation of what was going on there. I think some executive was like, hey, you need to reference at some point Sonic. Because that's our other
It's
big
also a
franchise that we're trying
90s
to sell.
thing, so Sonic was a thing.
Yeah,
There was also Mario in
Yeah.
there somewhere, but
yeah, they did
Kid-
reference Mario, and they had like Superman or something.
so
But yeah, the Sonic stuff being that prominent is, I mean, yeah, once you start noticing it, especially in the Marvel movies, it becomes very obvious when it's like Eternals, one of the characters is like, you're Tinkerbell and he's Peter Pan and you can never be together. It's like, what's coming out in a year and a half? Peter Pan remake on Disney
Well,
Plus.
I only bring it up because Are we announcing this now or what?
Yeah. Oh, we can announce it. Yeah. Yeah, because that'll be in 2 weeks.
Yes. I'm only bringing this thing up because our next series that we're going to do, surprise, is, of course, the 3 Sonic films, and maybe Knuckles.
Yes. Yeah. This is. I feel like I have to explain this a little bit because our Transformers series is part of a 2-part series with the Twilight movies, but we're taking a little break in the middle, um, primarily because that's when the new Sonic movie comes out, and we want to cover it when it comes out because then we get a boost in listenership. Um, but yeah, Sonic. We will be covering the live action Sonics.
Hooray!
Should be fun. I haven't seen any of them yet. Emma and I were watching the trailer for the third one after Rise of the Beasts, and it actually looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah, it didn't look as bad as I was thinking it might.
Yeah. Which is what I've heard reviews of the Sonic movies are. They're not as bad as you might think they would be. So, yeah. Oh, it should be fun.
Yeah.
I have been playing
Yep.
through some Sonic games to prepare for it. So,
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
in 2 weeks, I believe we will be starting that up.
Nice.
But yeah, anyway, I give the characters here a 2.5 out of 5, with a lot of those points going to Mirage, who was actually kind of fun.
Yes. I gave it a generous 3.
I gave it a 2.5. Pretty middle of the road. Like, none of the characters were, like, outright bad, I don't think, but they were all super typical.
On to the visuals. Peru is pretty.
Yeah.
Peru.
Emma and I were watching the action scene set on like the highway in Peru, and we both were watching the background instead of the action going on, just like, oh, it's so pretty. And
Yeah, at that point I didn't care at all about the action, so I was like, oh, look at the visuals.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
they go to like the colonial downtown, and there's like all of the red roofs, and yeah.
Yeah, which really tells about the action for this film. It's similar to that of the last film in that it's not memorable, but here they're trying really hard to be like Bayhem, but it's just not as interesting to watch. It's still not that interesting to watch.
It's okay. One of the really tough things with this one is that there's so many nighttime scenes. That first action scene especially is so dark. And obviously it's like to save money on CG. But it's just when you're watching it on a TV at home and it's still daylight outside, it's very hard to follow what is happening.
Sure.
Especially when it's just kind of like giant metal things hitting each other. And yeah, the final action scene really makes it clear how much more interesting things are when they are set in major cities or on like floating chunks of a giant planet instead of
It didn't
inside
need to
a
be
boring
30 minutes.
triangle.
It didn't
Wait,
need to
it
be
was
30
30
minutes.
Oh,
Wow.
It was.
Yeah, I did think.
it was boring and not visually engaging on like a there's nothing interesting going on in the environment. They just found like a relatively flat plane for the
There's
characters
nothing
to
really
be.
here action wise that I'd go back and maybe want to rewatch, as I probably would think of like other films, but here, nah.
I'd rewatch the car chase scene on the highway in Peru just to see the stuff on the highway and the background, not the actual scene.
Just to see the
I don't know.
Peruvian, our Andean friends.
The Andes. Yeah, the Andes are very pretty, and driving through the Andes is a fun experience. It's like, oh, I can watch them drive through the Andes, and there's an action scene going on, but I don't care. Yeah.
So,
I gave the visuals
like, what's
a generous 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 3.5. Why was she on the news for like temple for something found in Peru? Because all there was
Well, it's
just a
60
cave.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, but
why?
how much did they actually discover?
They found a cave with a box in it. All that was interesting is an empty
Yeah.
box. Nothing else was like, oh, the architecture of this cave is. No, it was just an empty box. There was nothing else.
Because they didn't even still have those pieces of the transwarp key, which was the main discovery plot-wise.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if there was more in that cave system that we just didn't see.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh.
I don't know.
All right,
Yeah,
performances.
performances. We have Anthony Ramos as Noah, who he was in the first cast of Hamilton, I think. I may be incorrect on that. But that's sort of been his claim to fame, and he's been able to become a relatively successful actor. He's the problem with this role is the writing. I don't think his performance, outside of like not quite selling that he's a former soldier, but even that
But
is,
I think that was the writing more.
yeah, I think that's more the writing. I think his performance could have sold it better, but the script wasn't doing him any favors. Um, yeah, we have Dominique Fishback as Elena, who she has been good in other things. I think again here the writing just isn't interesting enough. There's nothing for her to grab on
Right.
characterization wise. Yeah, I think the more I did like seeing Michael Kelly showing up as the guy doing the GI Joe interview, just because he's a face I recognize from other stuff. um, but yeah, voices. I have more to say on the voices. So yeah, Peter Cullen comes back as Optimus Prime. Emma, you were
There
saying he was a little bit emotionless. I would say
Yeah.
he's more stoic. I'm curious, John,
there's
because
also
you have a
another element to this in that this film has like different direction in terms of how they're doing the Transformer voices. There's a modular effect now that's deeper and boomy, which kind of was really distracting here because instead before you could clearly hear the natural tones of uh, Peter Cullen's voice, but it was weird and somewhat mechanical here, and so the performance was just kind of like, oh, okay. And it's even more noticeable because of Optimus Primal, voiced by Ron Perlman. I think
yeah.
Ron Perlman has the sexiest voice out there, and I could only tell it was him by his inflections with how he spoke, and not by the actual voice itself because of the boomy modulation that they were given. So Optimus sounded weird. Both of them sounded weird, and I was disappointed that I couldn't hear Ron's sexy voice as clearly as I would like to.
uh, yeah, we have Peter Dinklage as Scourge, which is so.
Was he the emotionless one?
Yeah. So, are either of you familiar with the game Destiny?
I've heard of it.
Vaguely.
So, okay. So Peter Dinklage, it's the from Bungie who created Halo, and it was their big like we're gonna make a new
Yeah.
Halo type thing.
It was big
It
in
was not
2014.
particularly well received, and yeah, what one of the big points of criticism was Peter Dinklage played a character in it, like the Navi of the game, the like little person who's there to tell you stuff, important stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And his performance was so widely criticized that they actually replaced him. Like they went in and had a different actor record the lines again and replaced his voice lines. So I have a clip here from his voice acting in Destiny.
The eye is charged. It's time to enter the Black Garden and finish this.
Very emotionless.
I don't know why you hire Peter Dinklage, who is a great actor but clearly struggles to do voice acting, to do a voice acting role.
I also think that because the voice roles are supposed to be like a robot, he's thinking it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do emotions because robots don't have emotions.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense from that perspective, but it
Yeah,
just doesn't work at selling a compelling character. Um, yeah, again, Peter Dinklage, great actor. I don't
I
know
mean,
why you hired him
also
for
like,
this.
why are you hiring big name actors? They've been doing this before this film, but like, why are you still hiring big name actors to voice things? They're not gonna be done with that. Like Transformers One, I'm gonna be talking about this when that film comes out, but yeah.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
talked about it, but it's been this whole thing about hiring main actors, celebrities popular at this time for to do vocal roles, and not because of their vocal talents or their
yeah.
uh, inflections.
It is disappointing. It's fun to see some of these people here, like Michelle Yeoh as Airraiser. She does a fine job. That is an underwritten role, and there were probably like dedicated voice actors who could have done a little bit more with it. Um, I thought Pete Davidson as Mirage was kind of a fun choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he has the good solid energy that went well with the voice, so that was
Yeah.
fine. But
Um,
yeah,
we have Liza Koshy as RC.
This is $1? $1? A collar for $1?
The YouTuber. I was surprised to see her on the cast list here.
yeah.
Again, I don't remember anything about that performance. Yeah, we also have some like smaller roles. We have Michaela Jai Rodriguez as Nightbird. Always cool
Oh,
to see her getting work.
yeah.
Again, there's not much to any of these performances. Coleman Domingo as Unicron. That is a great bit of casting. I think again, as you're saying, John, with the vocal modulation, the performance doesn't quite land as well as it should.
Yeah, but Unicron historically is the big boomy voice because it's a giant
Yeah.
thing. It would make sense to have a big boomy voice, but like, yeah, whatever, doesn't
Which
matter.
I think Coleman Domingo can do. Um, I guess I don't know. I'm not super familiar with his performances outside of his like big ones that everyone else knows. Um, yeah, yeah. I do wonder if they had gotten dedicated voice actors, especially for some of the roles like Scourge or Air Razor, if they would have been able to do something a little bit more interesting with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the performances are bad outside of Peter Dinklage. So I give it a 3.5 for performances.
I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, I think you were more having trouble with
I was having trouble with the Transformers voices
yeah.
a lot more. Like Optimus Prime just did not sound good for me.
Yeah.
I think that's because they started with Scourge and like someone dies and he's like, no.
yeah, they're flying away on the rocket.
They lost the thing that they really needed, and that's the whole reason that they're doing this. And the guy's like, no.
Yeah,
And then Optimus Prime just sounded a bit too much like that.
It almost
and
feels
especially when this is your first one and you're having trouble getting into the emotions of it anyway.
it really
And yeah, you have
feels like
Peter Cullen as
when they
Optimus.
do voiceover for stuff like this, they just bring him in the studio for like an hour. It's like, okay, do 1 or 2 takes, then get out of here. Whereas if you were
Yeah.
doing an animated film, they'd probably spend more time, unless it was a big name actor, in which case they don't want to spend that much money on the different recording studios. But since, because Peter Cullen, he does like some animated cartoons, there they spend more time in the recording booth, and so there he gets the chance to do more emotions and prep his voice
Yeah.
more, instead of like, okay, read this line. Okay, do you want me to do another take? No, that's good. Let's move on.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's part of why Pete Davidson works better here than a lot of the other actors, is that he was actually apparently improvising a lot of his lines.
Okay.
So he maybe had a little bit more emotional investment in the performance than Peter Dinklage, who was probably paid a lot of money to come in and say some lines.
Yeah.
Again, I think Peter Dinklage is a wonderful actor. I just don't know why they hired him for a voiceover role as a robot again after what happened the last time they did that. Onto
All
the
right.
sound. Again, my issue with Bumblebee and with this one is there's just too many needle drops.
I noticed it more in this film. Like when Bumblebee shows up and they play a song that doesn't really feel like it matches the emotion of what's supposed to be happening. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
why are you playing this song here?
it's because it's a song from the 90s that was popular, and we have to remind people that it's the 90s for
I did not
nostalgia.
realize ever that it was the 90s.
Even when it had a big title that said 1994.
I don't think I read that.
The
That's great.
score.
Movie.
The score is there, like the past few films, but
Yeah.
there was only one moment where the score stood out. It was at the end when they defeated things, and I was super confused because they started playing the Michael Bay Transformers theme,
Oh, I
the
missed
Autobots
that.
theme, where it's like that you'd hear from the first few more prominently. It's like, wait, why are you playing this? That's not those films. You're no wonder people are confusing these films. They are confusing these films with thinking it's the same continuity. You have the same music. Why are you doing this? I don't know.
I completely missed that they had done that, but you could have me listen to the Transformers theme from the Michael Bay movies and ask me what it's from, and I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. The music was there.
Yeah,
It was there.
I felt like some of the sound could have been heavier and had more impact, especially during the battles. But I did like that at one point they were syncing up like the movements with the sound, like the soundtrack, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I always love when movies do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that stands out a little bit more. At that point, I had checked out of the movie enough that I wasn't even really paying
That kind of
attention to that.
checked me back into it. It's like, oh, their movements are matching up with the music. That's cool. And then I stopped caring after that.
Yeah, I think at one point they played a song that was like written for the movie, because it sounded different than the 90s songs, but I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave the score or the sound a 2.5 out of 5. Just for
I
many needle drops.
gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah. Which leaves me with a total score of 15, which is a 60% or a 3 5-star rating.
Yep,
3
I
out of
have a 14.5, which is a 58% or a 2.95 star rating.
I'm just copying John with 15, which is a 60% or a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably technically better than the Bay movies. Or not technically, but like from a writing perspective,
It
from
is
a
more
coherent plot perspective.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
more
just isn't
coherent, not memorable or
No,
interesting to say, which is a shame. But anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review, and go to our Patreon at patreon.com/Binging Barbie Podcast. We will be back next week to reveal our rankings of the Transformers movies. And until then, no real names over the air. Autobots, roll out!